Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing an all drugstore brow routine. So this is something that I've been doing recently and I absolutely love the way it looks. I think it looks better than a lot of the higher end brow routines that I've been doing. And honestly, when it comes to brows, I've never been a drugstore brow person. I've always used something high end, and to be able to have a routine that looks this good using affordable products is amazing. So if you guys want to see how to do your brows like this, then just keep on watching. So here are my brows with absolutely no products in there. I did redo my tint last night, so they're a little bit darker. So if you see anything kind of on the skin, it's just brow tint. I like to keep up with tinting them. I just use the Just for Men beard dye in the dark brown shade because it obviously makes my brows look thicker and fuller. I don't have to fill them in as much, but it also helps where my natural hair is blonde and it's currently dyed black, so it kind of just evens everything out. This is always the first step in my makeup routine, so I'll do my full skincare routine, then do my brows, and then start on my makeup. So I do have a little bit of skin tint on right now, but we're just gonna wipe it away, so that's why it's best to just do this first. So I've been using several different brow glue lamination type products, and I have gone back to the OG. I feel like this one is just the best that you can get, and we are going to be using the Got to Be Glued spiking glue. I just honestly think this is the best thing that you can get. What I like about this product is it dries matte. That's the issue that I'm finding with a lot of other products, is it's very reflective, especially when I'm filming YouTube videos. I typically don't do this routine because it looks very shiny and reflective on camera, but this dries completely matte, so you'll be able to see how good it looks in person and on camera. And this is the tool I like to use. This is the e.l.f. Brow Lift applicator. So you have a spoolie on one end and a little spatula on the other. Use what you have. You can use the end of a brush, just anything to flatten your brows down, but this tool is just a couple bucks and it works nice. Okay, so what I do is I just get a little bit of that product on there, like that. So now that I have that product on the spoolie, I'm going to run it through kind of just roughly in one direction, and then a little bit backward, just so I'm coating the top and the bottom of the hair. And this is why it's best to do this before any other makeup, because you're going to get this glue everywhere and you're going to want to remove it. So once I kind of get that worked in, I'm just going to leave it to set for a minute. That way this one gets tacky while I put the product in the other brow. And I'm just doing the same thing to this brow. I do use a decent amount of product because I actually scoop some of it away, which you'll be able to see in a minute. So I'm just kind of working that in. So then I just kind of remove the excess product off of my spoolie, and now I'll start to shape my brows. So with that spoolie, and this does take a couple tries just because, again, you're wanting that product to get tacky because right now it's still a little bit too wet. So I like the front of my brows to go inwards and upwards, and then this to kind of go out like that. So you can see it's still wanting to fall back down. I have very stubborn brows. So that's when I'm going to switch over to the spatula side. And I'm going to alternate between laying them down and brushing them where I want them. Okay, so now I go in with the spatula and I kind of scoop any excess product. So you can see it's kind of building up on the spatula, and then I put it back down. So I'm like using that little bit of extra product to flatten down the brows. And then just keep brushing this where you want it. And flatten it down. Okay, so kind of once I get the shape that I'm looking for, I'm going to lay it down really well. And then with that spoolie, I'm going to just smooth down the top on that tail. And I am a perfectionist with this, so I do it a couple times to get it how I want it. Okay, so that brow's looking like that. Now we're going to move on to this one. So I'm going to brush these forward, brush these ones out and over. So this one I let get tacky a little bit longer, so it's going to lay down a lot quicker. So you can see I'm scooping and then using that to lay down those brows. And I like to make sure the brows are nice and separated and they don't get clumpy or anything. Now I'm just going to go in and smooth down the top. Okay, now that brows are kind of laid where I want them, this is when I go in and clean up around the brows. So I honestly just take a baby wipe. You can use a makeup wipe, whatever you want to use, and just put it around your finger and go around the edges. You can do like micellar water on a Q-tip, whatever you want to do, but you just want to get all of that glue off. Otherwise, it's gonna look really chunky under your makeup. So here's how the brows are looking. I like to wait about 2 or 3 minutes until the brows are completely dry before going in my product. Otherwise it gets a little goopy and we don't want that. So I will be right back once these are dry. Okay, next we're gonna go in with our brow pencil. You can use a pencil, powder, pomade, whatever you wanna do. I just prefer the pencil, especially with my hair being black because I feel like the pencil's a little bit softer. So this is almost completely worn out, but this is the Colourpop brow pencil. I will say it's not my favorite formulation, but the color is what I really, really like about it. So since dyeing my hair black, I've noticed a lot of black products are very, very, very dark because again, they're black. And although I want my brows to be dark like my hair and cool toned, I don't want them to be like pitch black. I just feel like they're a little bit too dramatic. So this one by Colourpop in the shade Soft Black, I believe it's what it's called, is like a very lightly pigmented black. So I'm going to show you kind of a side by side. Here is the NYX black brow pencil and here is the Colourpop one. You can just see it's not a very pigmented pencil, which a lot of people might not like, but I find that it works perfectly for what kind of look I'm going for. And I just realized I'm almost out of this pencil. Like this little nub is all that I have. So hopefully I can get through this brow routine with this pencil. If not, we'll have to use the next one, but it'll be fine. Okay, so my brows, like I said, I just tinted them last night. So like you can see right here, my skin is tinted. But what I like to do with my shape is my brows kind of go straight right here and then they naturally kind of up a little bit. You can see like right there. I want them to be straighter across. So that's really all that I'm filling in is that kind of straighter across line. I just like that look on me the best. But I'm just going to go in with that pencil and create that bottom line. And then I'm just kind of fading it up, doing small little motions. And then I will slightly extend the tail. I don't usually bring the product high up into my brows unless my tint is almost worn off or I find that there's like a gap like right there. I can see a lot of skin. Otherwise, I just kind of do the bottom. So I'll do that little spot, and even that I feel like might be a little bit too arched. So we're gonna lower this just a little bit. Now we're gonna do the other brow. So this one arches up a lot more. So I'm just gonna go straight across. I'm almost out of this pencil. I can feel the bottom. And right here, I'm just gonna kind of round that out a little bit because you can see a lot of skin. Okay, so I had to switch to the next one because I ran out. But right here, kind of on the tail of my brow, you can see it's a little bit patchy. So I'm just very lightly creating little hair strokes. And then I just kind of look forward and even out the shapes. If there's anywhere I feel like it's too bare, I'll kind of go in and fill it in. Okay, so I made that brow a little bit straighter. So I'm just gonna make sure that these are even and then we'll come back and do the inner part. Okay, so now that we have the brows fairly even, I'm gonna go in and extend the front a little bit. So this I really like the Colourpop pencil for because it's not too intense. But I'm just gonna bring it in just a little bit. Using very, very little pressure. Yeah, this pen's a little bit harsher than what I like, but it's fine. I'm gonna go in with that spoolie on the bottom and blend out the bottom of that. Alright, and the next product I like to do, mostly when I'm using the Colourpop pencil, is because it is such a lighter pencil, I go in with a brow pen on the areas where I don't have hair just to make it look like I do have hair. So for that, I'm using my NYX one in the shade Black. Okay, so right through here where I don't have any hair, I'm just going to do tiny little hair strokes just to give the illusion that I do have the hair there. And again, this is a very dark pen, so I'm using very little pressure for this. And I mostly just do it on that little bottom part. And if there's ever a spot that ends up being a little bit too harsh, just brush it out. All right, now I'm going to go in and clean up the brows. So I'm going to take a concealer. I like to use one that's pretty close to my skin tone, but you can use a lighter one if that's what you prefer. And this brush is a MAC 212 brush, but you can use any sort of flat shader brush or like a small concealer brush. But to do this, I'm going to go underneath the brow, but you can see I'm not going directly underneath the brow because I want to be able to fade it upwards so it's not super harsh. So I kind of place my lines first. And then I go in and bring it up to the brow. And I usually just do this on the bottom, and this will just really fix any mistakes that you made. And then I'm just going to take that brush and blend it downwards. I let that concealer dry a little bit too much, so I went and got a little bit more. And I typically have a lot of redness on my eyelids too, so I do this also to conceal that redness around my brows. And then sometimes if I feel like the tail is a little too thick or just not shaped how I like, I'll kind of do that little motion right there too. But I don't want a line of concealer. That's like the biggest thing. And I also don't want that harsh line right there either. Alright, so I just made some minor little tweaks, but here's what the brows look like up nice and close. Obviously, they're fake and they're drawn on, but they're the most natural that I can possibly get them myself. So I'm going to throw on some lashes and let you see what they'd look like if I had some eye makeup on, and I will be right back. Okay, so I just quickly throw on some lashes, and here's what it kind of looks like. I absolutely love them. I like a fuller, thicker brow on myself. Obviously, it's preference, so you do you, but yeah, I hope you guys like it. I hope you find it helpful, and maybe this brow routine will be the brow routine that you've been looking for. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next one.